Hello, folks. This week we're going to take a look at the song Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. And Squeaker, my cat, is here to help us out with this one. Squeaker, do you want to say anything? So that's where she's at right now. We've only got 4 chords for this song. Pretty straightforward. It's in the key of D. So we've got a D chord, G chord, an F chord, and we've got an A7 in there. I want to take a closer look at the D chord in this song, just because we are switching back and forth really quickly between the D and the G. And we switch back and forth between the G and the F, but if you've played the D chord before, you probably know that it's tough squeezing all of your fingers in there. That can be a little tricky. There are 2 popular fingerings for this particular chord, and I'm going to look at a third way of playing it. But we've got this way right here, where I'm cramming my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finger onto the 2nd frets of the G, C, and A string. Right, so I've got that business going on there. I'm also angling my fingers a little bit, so I'm kind of starting closer to the 1st fret, and that's where my pointer finger is sitting, and then my ring finger ends up sitting closer to the 3rd fret there. So I'm kind of like making a diagonal line across there is how I'm managing to squeeze all 3 of my fingers in. But it's still pretty tough. This shape, when I play it on guitar, this is the fingering that I would typically use to play this chord shape on guitar. But guitar's frets are a little bit bigger. This is the other way that I picked up to play this chord on the ukulele, where I've basically just swapped my index and my middle finger. So now my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the C. I'm sorry, that's my index finger on the 2nd fret of the C, and my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the G, like that. And you can see in the chord diagram as well where I'm putting each of those fingers, but I find that this is a little bit easier to get all of my fingers in place. It's just the way that my fingertips land on that fret is a little bit more comfortable. Now, the most frequent move that we're going to be making is going from this D chord to the G chord. Now, either way we play that D, there's going to be a trick to kind of holding your position, going from the D to the G, and then back to the D. Here, as you can see, my index finger is staying right on the 2nd fret of the C string there, and my ring finger is on that E string, and I'm just transitioning from the 2nd fret of the E string to the 3rd fret of the E string. And the big move, as you can see as I'm doing this, is I'm moving my middle finger from the 2nd fret of the G to the 2nd fret of the A, all the way over there. So that's one way that I can make this move. Even though I do have to flip that finger around pretty quickly, it's a nice concession to make for keeping my other 2 fingers right where they are. Now, this one right here, again, I can do a similar, how do I move that? Yeah, so here it's a similar idea. My ring finger still makes that same move, but with this D chord shape, the 1, 2, 3, I suppose we could say, my ring finger can stay on the string and do that same move from the 2nd up to the 3rd fret, but I have to move my index and middle finger both to new strings. So both of these work, whatever's going to work best for you. I encourage you to try out both ways and see kind of what makes more sense to your brain and your fingers. There's one more way that I will often play this sort of thing, especially when I'm playing like more punk rocky stuff where I'm kind of like slamming on the ukulele, where I'm actually barring the 2nd fret here. And actually, I'm not even playing the A string. I could play the D chord like this. Like 2nd fret of the G, 2nd fret of the C, 2nd fret of the E, and 5th fret of the A with my pinky. I could do that, but I'm not crazy about the sound with that high D up there. So what I end up doing is just playing these three strings, the G, C, and E strings. And what I do, I can transition from this D chord, which is second fret of those strings. I add my middle finger to the third fret of the E string and my ring finger to the fourth fret of the G string, while leaving my pointer finger right where it is. And it's a pretty cool way to quickly get to those other notes. Try out these different ways to transition between D and G, because that's what we're going to use most of all in this song, and we'll go from there. You want to come and say hi? Yeah, say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. I know, it's very exciting. Yeah. What do you think? Oh, they don't want to see that. All right, little lady. Really? Really? Big help. All right, so let's get a sense of what this song is going to sound like on the ukulele. Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time. So you've got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? It's always tease, tease, tease. You're happy when I'm on my knees. One day it's fine and next it's black. So if you want me off your back, well, come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. If I stay, it will be double. So come on and let me know. So there are a couple things going on that we want to kind of pay attention to. One thing, let me angle the camera down so you can see more of my right hand here. When I'm playing this song, especially when I'm playing the verses, I'm doing downstrokes. Now, those are what we would think of, we would count them as eighth notes in this song. And normally we talk about, down and up when we're talking about strumming eighth notes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We kind of think of things in terms of down and up when we're strumming. But a lot of times with punk rock, we want to do lots of downstrokes. We get a different sound when we're doing downstrokes in a row than when I alternate down and up. It's not a huge difference, but there's enough of a pulse that you get when you're doing the down up. Part of it might have to do with how we're striking the strings with our fingers. There is also that distinction between which string we are hitting first and which string we are hitting last, and therefore hearing first or last. Now, in punk rock, it's all downstrokes. And when we're playing punk rock on a guitar, it's to kind of accent those lower strings to make sure the low strings ring out and are more prominent in those strumming patterns. It's a little bit different on the ukulele. All of our strings are kind of high, but when we're playing with our high G tuning, we're going to get that high G in our downstrokes, which isn't going to sound like a guitar, but we're not trying to sound like a guitar. We're trying to sound like a ukulele. But we can still get that energy out of strumming these verses like a punk rock song. So if I take a look at the key D F, should I stay or should I go rhythm? You should have. I can see what the rhythm of those verses look like. Now, if you're not super familiar with standard notation, it's understandable if this looks like another language to you. It kind of is. But if I'm looking at the standard notation above the tab, I can see there's a little rest mark in there. So if you didn't know before that that's what an eighth rest looks like, now you know. It is a rest, a period of silence for the duration of an eighth note. So I've got a rest, and then I fill the rest of the measure with strums. So I could count it something like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So I, finish the phrase at the beginning of the second measure, and then I've got 3 beats of silence. I strum that first beat, and then silence, silence, silence. Let's count that again: 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. It's okay if it's not absolutely perfectly aligned to, to this strumming pattern, as long as you're keeping track of the beats in each measure throughout the song. It's okay if we mix things up. One way that I might simplify this verse is I wouldn't necessarily strum all of those eighth notes. I might do something like this: 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So essentially what I'm doing is, instead of playing that G chord as eighth notes, I'm turning it into 2 quarter notes, 2 longer notes. Now it's still getting the same point across. Rhythmically, I'm still kind of, it's accenting the right places, but it's a little bit less to strum. And if you've ever played punk rock, you know that your arm can kind of get tired playing really fast and lots of downstrokes and cruising away. So it's okay to give yourself that break. Let's take a look at the chorus, because the chorus is where things really start to crank. Here I definitely implement alternate strumming, down and up. Now, again, if you are looking at this, and even if you do read standard notation and you're looking at these eighth notes and dotted eighth notes and 16th note groupings in here, and it's all crammed in to those measures like that, and it's like, oh man, this is going to move really fast. Yeah, it is going to move pretty fast, but that strumming pattern, we can easily make that a little bit more palatable by just slowing it down and kind of like taking out those note values, like specifically looking at it there. We can kind of like look at it in a microscope, and we can look at the down and up pattern here, right? So if I'm looking at just those first 2 beats of the measure, just where we play the D chord at the very beginning, I'm just playing down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, miss, up, down, down, miss, up, down, down, miss, up, down, up. It's just that pattern, and I'm just playing it fast. Let's see what it sounds like. I'm going to play it at kind of fast speed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I was going to kind of simplify the chorus a little bit, I would probably, you could just hit those like accented chords on the change. So, you know, when you see the D, hit the D. And wait for the G to come. Back to the D. And you can just kind of let those chords ring out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3. A couple notes about the chords and lyrics PDF that you have. So I've got the first page has a lot going on, right? So I've got a box for verse 1, a box for verse 2, a box for the chorus, all of your chord diagrams, and then the verse strumming pattern written in there. Now, if you look at the verses, verse 1 or 2, we see this little symbol, these letters, NC. And NC simply stands for no chord. You might see this in a lot of chord sheets that you'll find across the internet, and it just simply means you don't play a chord. So there might be like a melodic line that's happening there, but we are not playing a chord underneath that. Here it is for that that effect of, like, you know, the guitar is dropping out and we're just hearing the vocals, and then the guitars come back in, or in our case, ukulele. So that would be represented by rests in standard notation, and down in the little box that says verse strumming pattern there, I have the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and spelled out, with R's, the letter R, representing rests, and those little slash marks representing strums. And there's a little explainer in there too, but I just thought it was worth talking a little bit about, seeing as though I have your attention. And it's something that you might see a lot, looking at chords and lyrics and tablature all over the internet. So the order of this goes verse 1, verse 2, chorus, verse 3, there's an instrumental section, and then we play the long chorus at the end. All right, so I'm going to sing page 1, and hopefully I'll be able to edit this nice and smoothly so it'll sound like I just kept singing onto page 2. So we'll see how effective my editing skills are there. But let's play the song. 2, 3, and 4. This is the 4th time. Darling, you've got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? if you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time. So you got to let me know, should I stay or should I go? Verse 2, it's always tease, tease, tease. You're happy when I'm on my knees. One day it's fine and next it's black. So if you want me off your back, well, come on and let me know, should I stay or should I go? Chorus. Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go there will be trouble, and if I stay it will be double. So come on and let me know, this indecision's bugging me. If you don't want me, set me free. Exactly whom I'm supposed to be. Don't you know which clothes even fit me? Come on and let me know, should I cool it or should I blow? Instrumental verse. G now, back to the D, comes the A7, D. Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go there will be trouble, and if I stay it will be double. So you gotta let me know, should I cool it or should I blow? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go there will be trouble, and if I stay it will be double. So you gotta let me know, should I stay or should I go? All right, so there are a couple of spots where things change in kind of a weird way in this song. Actually, the first thing that I want to point out is the way that the lyrics are set are a little weird, and they definitely throw me off. I had to do several takes to get it all just right. But lines like in verse 3 in particular is where this really starts tripping me up, at least, and it might trip you up. If you know the song really well, it's probably not going to trip you up at all. But don't you know which clothes even fit me? It's so I'm going to play the don't you know which clothes even fit me? There's like extra words. It doesn't quite fit, but I mean it's punk rock. Like they're just gonna squeeze it in however it works. I do the same thing in my songs in my own way, but where I'm not used to singing this, it's a little funky. And if you're not used to singing this, it might be a little funky for you too. So I thought I should mention it. Same thing with the last line of verse 3. Come on and let me know, should I cool it or should I blow? So, like, they put the stress on the word it. Now, normally in songs when lyrics are being set like this, it really bugs me. But a lot of times in punk songs, there's another band, a more current band called Nervous Dater that does this kind of lyrical settings a lot. And for some reason, it doesn't bug me in this particular setting. But it does take my brain a couple seconds to really be able to sing it like that. I actually always thought the line was not should I cool it or should I blow, because I want to put the stress on the word cool. Should I cool it or should I blow? Because that's how we speak, right? I always thought the line was, should I commit or should I blow? So I thought, like, you know, stay, commit, or go, blow. So, I don't know. I learned something new. The other thing to watch out for is in that final chorus. So it's almost double length, that chorus. We do one chorus normally, and we just keep playing on through when we get to the end of the chorus. And then we continue on for a second time through the chorus, but it's missing one line. So instead of having two should I stay or should I goes, it's only one before jumping to if I go, there will be trouble. I'm going to play just that second part so you can see what I mean. Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. See how he jumped? If I stay, it will be double. So you gotta let me know. So it just drops one line, which is another thing that might catch you off guard, because you kind of get into the, all right, it's do the two lines and then the one line, and then you close it out, which I think is really cool. But even in a simple song like this, those little tiny subversive things, those little tiny moments where things shift a little bit in a way that, could feel unsettling, is really cool and really appropriate for this style of music. So even though it can be a little tricky to wrap my brain around, I really appreciate that kind of stuff in a tune like this. So that is Should I Stay or Should I Go? I don't even remember why I decided to pick this song. I think I was just like thinking, oh, what am I going to do this week? And I must have heard it, or I saw somebody talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that would be fun. But I enjoyed learning this song. I hope you enjoy playing this song. As always, please email me if you have any questions about it. If you have questions about another song, maybe you're just getting to an email and one of those songs, maybe you just stumbling upon White Sandy Beaches, and you're finally like, all right, I'm going to sit down and learn how to play this song. If you have any questions about White Sandy Beach, give me a buzz. Email me at tinyvillagemusic@gmail.com. And if you've got an idea for a future lesson, please, I would love to hear, oh, I've always wanted to play this song. I would love to do that song that you've been wanting to play for a while. So thank you all so much. Take care. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next time. Squeak, say goodbye. Bye.